Yes, I am Jim Rice. I am the Stranding Program Manager. I work with Marine Mammal Institute for Oregon State University at the Hatfield Marine Science Center across the bay here in Newport. I've been working here in Newport for Marine Mammal Institute for the past 16 and a half years, and prior to that I spent about 10 years doing similar work at the New England Aquarium in Boston, Massachusetts.
Sometimes when people look out into the bay, they ask, are those dolphins out there jumping in and out of the water?
No, they're not dolphins. They are sea lions. Dolphins and sea lions are from different family groups of marine mammals. The sea lions are part of a group known as pinnipeds, which includes seals and sea lions and walruses. Dolphins are part of a group known as cetaceans, or whales, dolphins, and porpoises. So they're all marine mammals, but they're quite different in their biology.
Do the sea lions live here full time?
That's a good question. They're often here, but they don't live here full time. They migrate, so the sea lions that you see here at the docks in Newport are generally moving about up and down the coast quite a bit, and they migrate to Southern California every year for the breeding season. So although you might expect to see sea lions here most of the time, the sea lions that you happen to see on any given day are likely not the same ones that you may have seen a week or two prior.
Do you feed the sea lions?
Absolutely not. It's strictly forbidden to feed sea lions. They are protected by the Marine Mammal Protection Act, which is a federal law, so it would be a violation of federal law to feed them. These are wild animals. They depend on feeding themselves, and if they become habituated to eating food given by people, it can cause all sorts of problems. Sort of akin to if you go to a national park and feed grizzly bears, you can cause all sorts of problems that way, or even just feeding raccoons in your own backyard. You do not want to feed wildlife. Wildlife needs to depend on its own resources to survive.
Do you ever get tired of the sea lions?
No, I don't get tired of the sea lions. I find them very entertaining. But I understand sometimes they can be loud and maybe obnoxious to some folks, especially if you happen to live close to where they haul out. But I don't get tired of them myself.
How old do sea lions live to be?
On average, they live about 15 or 20 years. In captivity, if they're getting proper medical care, they can live into their 30s. But by and large, the average lifespan is probably on the order of 15 to 20 years, maximum.
Is it true that the sea lions we have here are all boys?
The sea lions we have here in Newport tend to be all male. We generally do not see female California sea lions in Oregon. Females of this population tend to stay in California waters year-round, and the males are the ones that migrate north, and they go as far north as Alaska.
Do the sea lions eat primarily fish? Do they also eat algae or seaweed?
They eat primarily fish, and it's mostly schooling fish like sardines and anchovies. They also eat squid, and actually quite a wide variety of different species of fish, as well as things like octopus, and I've mentioned squid as well. So they have a pretty varied diet, depending on what's available to them.
How much do the sea lions weigh?
The average weight of the sea lions we have here is probably around 400 pounds or so. They do range in size and weight. Some of these animals are only about 100 pounds or a couple hundred pounds, and some of them can get up to close to 1,000 pounds. Really depends on their age and their physical physique. Some of them just tend to get bigger than others do.
Where did the sea lions come from?
They are generally born in the Channel Islands off the coast of Southern California. In fact, the vast majority of the animals are actually born on those islands themselves. And then they radiate from there up and down the entire west coast of the U.S.
Why do sea lions huddle together in the water and put a flipper in the air?
That's a behavior known as rafting, and that's one way that they can rest while they're at sea without coming ashore. And they raise a flipper into the air. It's thought to help regulate their body temperature. They can cool their body that way or warm it depending on their physical need. They have blood vessels that run through their flippers, and they can serve as sort of like a radiator to shed excess heat, or to they can shunt the blood flow to those flippers to maintain body heat. And that rafting behavior is quite common. We get reports about animals rafting a lot, and folks are often concerned. They think the animals may be in distress or entangled in gear, but they're simply just taking a nap at the surface of the water.
Do you ever see great white sharks in the bay?
I have not, and I suspect that most sharks don't come into the bay. They probably are outside the bay into the ocean, but we do see the effects of the sharks preying upon seals and sea lions. I see shark-wounded seals and sea lions fairly often in my work.
Do you ever see orcas in the bay?
I have seen orcas on a couple of occasions in the bay. It's rare, and it's certainly a treat when they come in here, and they usually come in here during the spring months. So right now we're at the time of year where it's most likely that orcas would be seen in the bay. They often come in for brief periods of time, usually on an incoming tide, and they seem to be searching for food, presumably seals and sea lions, when they come in.
Does the Coast Guard do anything to prevent orcas from hunting sea lions in the bay?
No, they do not. They may well be curious and want to observe them, but they are not in any way going to interfere with the natural process of predation. So it's not in their mission to interfere with wildlife that way.
Mostly in jest, some people ask, can we eat the sea lions?
No, it would be illegal to kill or consume a sea lion. They are, again, federally protected by the Marine Mammal Protection Act.